هذا رمضان شهر صفاء الروح فيه الإحسان والأنوار تدور هذا رمضان.
All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. I humbly ask Allah Ta'ala to raise the rank of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, his kind Al and companions, and to protect his nation from that which he fears for them. During this session, inshallah, we will speak about section number 15, which is menstruation, AlHayd. Now, of course, as you all know, this topic is so wide. If we were to talk in detail, I mean, it has many details and cases, but in this session, inshallah, we're going to mention the basic rules, the basic things about menstruation, in addition to a few cases and examples that are important. Bismillah, let's start with this section. The author, rahimahullah, said the minimum period of menstruation. Now, he is starting to discuss the minimum and the maximum periods of menstruation, and he is going to define what is menstruation. So he said, the minimum period of menstruation, which is, this is the definition, which is the blood that exits the woman's vagina without that being due to a defect, is a day and a night. So the definition of menstruation, it is the blood that exits the woman's vagina without that being due to a defect, is a day and a night. That's the minimum period, a day and a night. Now, it's not necessary to be continued. It's not necessary to be connected. It can be in discontinued intervals. But the sum of these intervals, they need to be 24 hours for this to be considered as menstruation. That is the meaning of the minimum period of menstruation, is a day and a night. When we say a day and a night, we mean 24 hours. Again, they don't have to be connected. They don't have to be continued. They can be interrupted, but the summation of all these intervals, they need to be 24 hours within an interval of 15 days, and this is coming soon in this paragraph. Again, the minimum period of menstruation, which is the blood that exits the woman's vagina without that being due to a defect, is a day and a night. That is a period equaling a day and a night. And this is the meaning of what I just explained, equaling to a day and a night. They don't have to be continued day and a night, connected, no. They can be interrupted, again, within an interval of 15 days. Normally, that's the minimum. What's the usual? What's the normal? Normally, it is for 6 or 7 days, meaning for most of women, it is 6 or 7 days, with their nights. So, normally, it is 6 days or 7 days with their nights, and its maximum is 15 days with their nights. That's the maximum of menstruation. Now, this paragraph included the definition of menstruation. It included the minimum, the normal, and the maximum duration periods for the menstruation. Now, the purity between two menstrual cycles. The second paragraph, the author rahimahullah said the minimum purity between two menstrual cycles is 15 days. That's the minimum. The author said, so, if a woman's blood stops and then starts again before the completion of 15 days in such a way that is not considered to be connected to the blood before the cessation of bleeding, then this new blood is not menses. Rather, it is dysfunctional bleeding. So it is istihada. Okay? So the minimum purity between two menstrual cycles is 15 days. Now he is mentioning a case. What if the blood stops and then starts again before the completion of 15 days? So let's say the blood stops and then after 10 days of purity, the blood came again. She started seeing blood again after 10 days only, not 15 days. So he mentioned that this would be istihada, dysfunctional bleeding, bleeding due to a defect, not menstruation. Then he said, moreover, there is no maximum duration between two cycles. That is, there is no maximum duration of purity between two menstrual cycles. Why? Now he will mention. He said, because a woman might menstruate once every 2 or 3 months, or once a year, or she might even menstruate once in her entire life. So that's why there is no maximum duration of purity between two menstrual cycles. Let's see some examples for the paragraphs that we have just explained. So in this slide, we are speaking about different cases, okay? As you can see on the screen, we have a timeline of 21 days. So a timeline of 21 days, and as you can see, I've made kind of clarification for the 24 hours. That is, we mean by 24 hours a day and a night, right? That's when we said menstruation, a minimum of menstruation period is a day and a night, that is 24 hours. So the first line here, minimum period of menstruation is a period equaling to a day and a night, which is the first box, right? That is 24 hours. And then the normal menstruation period is 6 or 7 days with the nights. A day and a night equals 24 hours. So 6 times 24 or 7 times 24 hours. Then the maximum menstruation period is 15 days with the nights. Same thing. That's the maximum. This means that if a woman bleeds, if she sees the blood for, let's say, 10 days, that's menses. 11 menses, 12, 13, 14, that's considered menses. 15, that's considered menses. If she continues bleeding over 15 days, this means it is not menses. Why? Because the maximum period of menstruation is what? Is 15 days. So when it exceeds 15 days, it means this is istihaba. This is blood of defect, dysfunctional bleeding. And then in the last line, we see the minimum purity between two menstrual cycles, which we mentioned it is 15 days. So the minimum purity, the non-menstrual period between two menstrual cycles is 15 days. For example, if a woman bleeds, if she sees the blood for 8 days, then the bleeding stopped. Okay? The bleeding stopped for a period of 10 days. Then she started bleeding again. After 10 days of cessation, then this new blood is not menses, as I explained in the previous slide. So in this slide, it is just about a clarification, graphical clarification regarding the definitions that we mentioned in the previous slide. Now in this slide, we will continue to speak about the same matter, but we have two different examples. Again, we have a timeline of 21 days, starting by Sunday and ending with Sunday, 21 days. The first example, we have a case where a woman, she bled for 1 hour, right? We said that 24 hours, they don't have to be continued. So in the screen, you can see we have an example. First example, she saw the blood for 1 hour, right? Then it stopped. Then she saw the blood for 1 hour, that's 2. Then it stopped. Then 1 hour, that's 3. Then stopped. Then 1 hour, that's a total of 4 so far. Then it stopped. Then 10 hours. All of these, they happened within an interval of 15 days. So 1 hour, then stopped, then 1 hour, then stopped, then 1 hour, then stopped, then 1 hour, that's 4 hours, then stopped, then 10 hours, 14 hours of bleeding, not continued, discontinued, disconnected within 15 days. This is not menses. Why? Because it did not reach the minimum menstruation period, that is 24 hours. Remember? We have here 14 hours, and the minimum to be classified as menses, as menstruation, is 24. So this, in this case, it did not reach 24 hours. So it is not menses. So every time the blood stops, she needs to what? She needs to clean herself and then pray. Okay, let's see the second example. In the second example, we have a case where a woman, she bled for 5 hours. Then the bleeding stopped. Then 5 hours. Then stopped, that's 10. Then 5 hours, that's 15. Then stopped. Then 5 hours, that's 20. Then stopped. Then 5 hours, now the total is 25 hours. Within an interval of 15 days, as you can see. 25 hours, this number exceeds the minimum menstruation period, that is 24. So 25 is more than 24, that is classified, it is considered menstruation. So total bleeding time for the second example is 25 hours within 15 days period, which is maximum menses period, that is considered menses.
هذا رمضان شهر صفاء الروح فيه الإحسان والأنوار تدور